Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum, and I'm here with this week's inspirational message. Anyway, at least I hope you'll find it inspirational. We're brought to you courtesy of the COVID-19 virus that is enabling us to offer our service virtually so we can reach you any place, anytime, and just be there present with you. I'd like to start off today's service with a song that we often sing when we're meeting in person. My soul is welcome here. The words are up on the screen, so you'll be able to sing along at home, and I hope you sing with gusto. Clap along too.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Oh, my soul is welcome here. All right. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. All right. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul
Bring back memories. We will be there together again before we know it. Before we know it, we'll be on to that. Well, for the last 6 weeks, we have been doing a series about the lessons of the turtle, learning to live our life from the right side up. And you know, the turtle for these past 6 weeks has been living upside down. And it's kind of like just like us. For the past 6 months, we've kind of been living upside down. And if not upside down, we've certainly looked at life from a different perspective. Oh, it really seemed to put things into perspective, which were the really important things in our life. But we can kind of tell by those things that we miss the most, the people that we miss seeing, freedoms to hug, things that we took for granted. That it's been a really unusual case. And just like the turtle feeling very vulnerable upside down, all of us have had different degrees of feeling vulnerable as our world was turned upside down. So Turtle met with his friend Yoda, and he has some wonderful ahas. He found that each of us have a special place in life and a mission to accomplish. And he discovered we create our truth, our life, by affirming it and by living it and living into it. And he learned the power of staying in the present. And still through all this learning, Turtle is still upside down. So I think we should take a little brief glimpse and see what he's up to now. Just get this video started.
As divine order would have it, some of Turtle's friends heard him talking to Yoda and came over to see what was going on. After chuckling over Turtle's dilemma and ever so glad it wasn't them stuck on their backs, Yoda made a suggestion.
Perhaps you actually can. Together, you can push him so his feet he can regain.
Well, let's put our noses beneath his shell and push him this way. They tried without success. We can't do this alone. Turtle, you're going to have to help. After all, it's your life we're saving. When we push, dig your feet into the ground and try to pull yourself over. Can you manage that?
Let's do this. You push and I'll pull. We did it!
Yay!
How do you feel, Turtle?
Feel? I feel excited, alive, invigorated.
A lesson there is here too. The gift of friends is the lesson of energy.
Lesson of energy.
As divine order would have it.
We already saw that. Don't need a repeat on that. So the gift of friends is a lesson of energy. Without friends, we really can get discouraged. But, when we have that help, that support of others who really love us, it makes all the difference in the world. And it's not that we just depend on others to do for us, but it's the combined energy, the energy of working together to get something done. I'm going to stop the screen here and as we go on. Oh, I did have one more screen. Sorry. Let's go back there. Because this is I just love this graphic. Here we go. See, friends are kind of like the pillars on a porch. They're there to support us. Sometimes we lean on them. Sometimes it's just enough to know that they're there to hold us up. Okay, there we go. And I love that idea of friends are like a porch, that solidity that's there, whether we need it or not. There's just a certain comfort level there. And I love the idea of a porch, because a porch is one of those places where you just kind of go and gather. Because again, this is a team sport. This isn't something that we do individually, that we're meant to live life alone. In olden times, it used to be that a ship would often get stuck at sea when it was exploring new lands, and particularly they would get stuck near South America. Sometimes the ship would be there for days and weeks, and finally when another ship went by, they'd all be waving at them. This is off the coast of Brazil. And because the ship couldn't move, there was no wind, they weren't able to reach land. And the sailors would run out of fresh water. And as these other ships would finally come into sight and they would think they had help, the other ships would yell to them, "Lower your buckets, you're in fresh water." Because in Brazil, at the mouth of the Amazon, where sometimes the wind is very still, the Amazon is so huge and so strong, it is fresh water going out into the ocean. So these people that thought they were dying of thirst had everything they needed all around them. They just needed to lower their buckets into it. And sometimes it's like that for us too. It feels like we're lacking something so greatly, when in truth it's around us. And many times, what is around us is this really network of friends, people that are willing to help us, people that want to help us. You know, I had a minister who used to say, yeah, she knew God was always with her, but she wanted God with skin on. And sometimes we need God with skin on too. And realizing that sometimes we're the God with skin on for other people, that these hands come as the activity of God reaching out to help others. And since God is in everything working in and through us, we are that helping hand. That is our presence. We are, you know, it was said in the scripture, Jesus said, you are the light of the world. And a city built on a hill can't hide its light. Now, it's not like we're a fluorescent light or a CFL or whatever, but we are that energy that dispels darkness in a person's heart and a person's mind, that our presence can help lift another up, just as the same way that somebody coming into our life can help lift us up by their light, their energy, their presence. And of course, we know that energy is just that unconditional love that we get to share with each other. And you know, the word friend actually comes from the same root as the word free. And there really is kind of a freedom in having friendships. There's a freedom of knowing that we're not alone. There's a freedom of knowing that people support us in just marvelous ways, sometimes unexpectedly. It's just wonderful. Mother Teresa, she was a great friend to so many people in the truest sense of the word. She said, spread love wherever you go. First of all, in your own house. Give love to your children, your spouse, and your next door neighbor. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your eyes, your face, your smile, and your warm greeting. And my t-shirt, it says, humankind. And underneath it says, be both. Human. We can be both human and we can be both kind. Humankind. Let nobody be in our presence and leave without feeling just a little bit better, a little more lifted up, because we allowed our light, the love, that love energy to shine through us and to share it with these other people, whoever they might be. You know, it could even be the cashier at the grocery store or the mailman coming up to your door. I mean, we're so aware of essential workers these days, and just allowing that love, that energy to radiate to them. You know, we can be a friend even without knowing their name. I think by making that energetic connection, that's part of that oneness, idea of oneness. A few years ago, I was out in California. I wanted to see the redwoods. I had heard about these huge trees. And it was very interesting. They said you had to walk on the paths because the redwoods, their roots are very near the surface. And if you walked outside of the path, you would be stepping on their roots and you could harm these magnificent giant trees. But the reason the roots are near the surface is so they could get the maximum amount of water that might come down. But on the other hand, it would make them very stable because they're huge, huge trees. But what they have done is they have interlocked their roots. So a whole grove of cedar trees, so the roots are on the surface, they are massive interlocking that, though individually they'd be easy to topple over, connected in that web, they become an impossible mass. They become so sturdy, so strong. Together, they are better, just like us humans. When we can get together to share and to find those common values, to be human and to be kind, we become like those cedar groves in California, those giant cedars. We cannot be bent. We cannot be broken. Now, sometimes when we talk about friendship and interrelatedness, needing to be with other people, we say, oh, but there's times I need to be alone. And that's true. There's going to be times that we might be grieving something that We just need to really handle it internally before we can be around other people. Or maybe there's something really important that we're thinking about. But what we need to take a check on to see if during this time that we've gone internal, have we pitched a tent and are starting to set up house to homestead? Because that is not what this is for. Grieving is a process. Time alone is a process to help us spend more time with each other, a better quality of time. I remember when I learned Transcendental Meditation, they stressed that it was not what happened during those 15-minute bits of information. It was what happened the other 23 and a half hours of the day. That the meditation was to help us to be more present, be able to cope with stress, to be clear thinking, to just be more us, our true us in every moment of our living day. That is the importance. And when we think about being with other people, I remember as a teenager, there used to be this romantic vision that you'd find your other half, that you were somehow not complete until you found that perfect partner for you. And that is just a setup for disaster. That's called codependency, where you think something's missing and somebody else completes you. Well, we find out that in really healthy friendships of all kinds, whether it be a romantic relationship, a family relationship, friendship relationship, that what really makes healthy relationship is a person that is whole connecting with another person that is whole. Whole plus a whole makes oneness, not brokenness. So this kind of connection is called interdependent as opposed to codependent. Just like those cedars that are interdependent. So true, and we make ourselves, we work on ourselves to be healthy and whole. What we bring to the stability of the race consciousness of humanity is that same kind of solidity, that same kind of strength, that same kind of intermingling of energy. So it's not about what we need, it's about what we want. When we do affirmations, sometimes people say, well, I need this in my life, I need that. And if we affirm from a need point of view, because we're broken, or there's only half of us, what we're affirming is more of the void, more of the need. But when we affirm that idea of I want, this is what I desire, this is my goal, this is my aspiration, it unleashes that creative force within us to start things working into that manifestive label. It's like sharing a fountain of plenty when we start really responding to that soul urge, that impulse of the universe that moves within us. When we look at a situation through human eyes, what we often see is lack. We see brokenness. We see people that we might say need fixing. But when we are able to look at the situation, the circumstance, the person, to spiritualize, what we see is a wholeness. What we see is an internalized ability right within them right now that can come forth to help them navigate whatever stands in front of them. That's one of the first things we do when we're praying for somebody. We don't pray from the situation. We pray from a knowing that this person is whole, that this person has that infinite power within them right now, and we are just holding the vision for them until they feel strong enough or clear enough to step into it. We are not trying to make anything different. We are not trying to make them anything else but what they are. We are just getting to be that support to hold them until they can see it for themselves. In fact, one of the best things I learned in ministerial school and took a lot of pressure off my shoulders was, it was not my job to fix anybody. Not my job to fix anybody. My job was to know the truth. The truth is that the Christ is within everyone. That enlightened state of consciousness, that spark of divinity is in with you, it's within me, it's within every person on this planet. And this is a really good thing to remember as we're going into election season, when there's such division of thinking within our country. No matter what is happening among these people, being able to learn to see the divinity within each of them, no matter what else is happening, to hold to that truth that somehow we may not be able to understand the plan, but somehow what is happening is part of this process that this is not a place where God is not, because God is always there and God is there first. Knowing that we all have access to divine guidance, sometimes it's not enough as individuals. And what really helps is this group of friendship, just like the turtles helping our friend the turtle to be able to turn over, to get right side up again. That's why 12-step programs are so successful, because it's a group support. Whenever one or two of them are having those weak moments, they have this wonderful additional support of energy within their group, unjudgmental, unconditional. And the other important factor of that group is that they surrender to a higher power within them. A higher power within them, not something outside of themselves, but that idea of the divine within, the Christ within. Remember Irma Bombeck? She was she wrote fun comedic columns. She once said, "Never teach anyone to drive who you've given birth to." Never teach anyone to drive who you've given birth to. That's because, it's really tempting to try to fix people around us, especially our kids. We don't want them to go through the pain. We think we can help them circumvent it. We want to take their lessons away from them and just hand them a little package and say, this is what you need to know. But, as we went through it too, sometimes we have to learn things through experience, not because somebody shared with us. And this whole idea of we're not here to fix anybody, maybe here to help, but never to fix. Sometimes it's harder to remember when it's somebody that's related to us. Sometimes the closer somebody is, the more that we want to get in there and somehow become a barrier to any pain they might feel. Like Turtle falling down the trail. If I was Turtle's mother, maybe I don't know, maybe I would have got down there and tried to break his fall or something. I think the best part of being a minister is that my job is just to be a mirror for you of your very best part. I am like a little reminder box of who you are and how capable you are and the depth and width and breadth of this power that is within you. That you are so co-creative with the impulse of the universe, that you have a capacity for love and compassion that supersedes anything that you've even imagined at this point. And of course, we aren't islands. We are meant to live together. It's like life really is about, it's kind of a group sport that we get into. And this week we've had a few days of rain, and if you ever sat and watched the raindrops as they hit the window, each of those raindrops is like each of us having this life experience. We hit the window and we go down, and as you watch the drops, time to time the two drops will touch, and they'll stay together for a minute, and then a little ways down they'll split again. When they split, they're different. They interchange part of what they are, and then they go on to separate paths. And it's the same way with us. For each encounter that we have, we leave something behind and we take something with us. Scientifically, quantum physics, whatever, we know that wherever we go, these little electrons just drop off from us. That if we could actually track these electrons, we could tell every place we had been. It's even better than a smartphone about, a GPS system about locating us. So every time we have an interaction with another, knowing that they take something of us away and we take something of them away, what a great incentive to make sure that everyone we encounter leaves just a little bit happier, a little bit more lifted up. Maybe just somehow they know there's a little more light in their life than they ever realized was possible. So there was a teacher that did some incredible work, and here's how this came out. It's a true story of a study some psychologists did of 200 students in a ghetto area. And as they interviewed the teachers about these students, most of them, after the name was written, no hope for a good future, no hope for getting out of the ghetto, no hope for furthering their education. And then the psychologists did a study 25 years later as a follow-up. And in the follow-up, they found out that an incredible number of these students that have been labeled as no hope were very successful. And so they started interviewing to find out what happened. And in the interviews, one line kept coming up. There was this teacher there was this teacher. There was this teacher. And I know many of you out there have been teachers or still are teaching, and God bless you for teaching through the pandemic, for teaching virtually, for going with the flow and all this. And for those of you that have taught for years, thank you. I mean, it's just a great service that you provide for our world, teaching our youth. What happened is this teacher was still alive, so I went to interview her, and they said, you know, so many of your students really tested us as students with no hope. They were never going to break out of this poverty cycle that they were in. He said, tell us, what is your secret? What did you do? What made the difference with these boys? And she said, I simply loved the boys. I simply loved the boys. One person can make a difference that changes an entire person's life, puts it on a different trajectory from anything ever imagined. Wow. There is a spiritual teacher, Suzuki Roshi, and he wrote, there is no such thing as an enlightened person. There is only enlightened activity. There's not an enlightened person, only enlightened activity. And that so reminds me of Unity's 5th principles, that it's not enough to think the best thoughts, to feel the best feelings, but we need to take the best action. When I say by best, I mean the most loving, the most enlightened action that we can take. We need to, sometimes people say, put feet to your prayer, to walk to your talk, to be authentic into your values and what you believe. We need to walk our talk. You know, I wonder how Turtle and Yoda made out. I wonder if Turtle actually ended up living into all those things that he had learned during that time that he was on his back. Let's go back and visit our friends and see how they're doing. There we go. Okay.
You're not going to believe the things I saw. Did you know trees are tall and green, at times pointy?
Trees? Green?
Yes! And there are fluffy white puffs floating in the sky. They're called clouds. And the mountains are so magnificent, they almost reach to the clouds.
Oh, you're making all this up.
It's true. You have to see it for yourself.
Right. And get stuck on our backs like you? Everyone knows a turtle will die upside down like that. No thanks. I'll pass.
But you don't have to turn upside down. You can just look up once in a while.
Turtle tells his friends about all the wonders he saw while he was upside down. They were skeptical. And instead of even risking change, they decided things were as they were supposed to be and walked away. All except one brave turtle who asked her friend to tell her more. Why would I want to see new things?
Because life is fuller. When you see the world differently, life is better. I receive gifts from the tree, the clouds, and mountain. I know myself better. I'm happier. I will never again walk in fear, tripping and dying. I think I will be more afraid of never living.
What do you mean you receive gifts?
There were lessons. Thanks to Yoda, the accident taught me about the power of choice. From the tree, I learned honor, honoring myself. I learned how a simple affirmation can turn my loftiest dreams into reality from the cloud. From the butterfly, I learned the importance of living in the now. And from the mountain, I learned about goals. I even learned a lesson from you. It's one of the best lessons of all. I learned about energy. With friends who care, I know I can really live and never be afraid to look up and experience life. You're there to help. And if I fail or fall, you'll be there to help me get right side up again.
When you fall, you discover that you are must unlearn what you have learned. You failed to find a safer path to the water. The greatest teacher failure is. Now, I am going to give you one more little gift. This is a gift that will help you remember the other lessons. Notice the first letter of the other lessons. Choice, honor, affirmation. Now, goals, energy. They spell change. That's the real gift. Your ability to change and to change in ways that will make you happier, ways that will make you more alive, ways that help you live the right side up. Remember the change and pass on what you have learned.
I'll try, Yoga.
Remember, do or not do. There is no try.
Thank you, Chris and Lisa. So the final gift, as Yoda explained it, was as a gift, the idea of a word to help us remember those steps that can help us evolve in our life. First is choice. When he had the accident, he made a choice to take that path that was dangerous. H is honor, honoring himself, honoring that each of us has that place in the world. A for affirmation, have the great ideals and affirm it, build it in consciousness. Live in the now. We never know how long that we have. This is the moment now, the only moment we can be sure of. The mountains inspired us to goals. And then energy, the energy of friends, the energy of being in a collaborative, of working with each other, better together, always better together. So your spiritual practice for this week is don't wait. Edwin Chaplin, he's a teacher of biology, he says, every action of our lives touches on some chord that will vibrate in eternity. Wow, that makes me rethink anything I do. Every action of my life touches some chord that will vibrate in eternity. I want to make sure what I send out there is the very best that I can. So as a spiritual practice, consider what Yoda said, there is no try, do or not do. Take an action that will bless the world because you have it in you to do it. Be the light, be the love, be the compassion. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this series. It's been fun. I appreciate Lisa Smith and Chris Jansen helping me out with the Little Readers Theater there. Now's the time that we celebrate prosperity. And as always, I just start with deepest gratitude for those that are still supporting Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing with their financial gifts. Sometimes people send in checks or they donate through our website. It is just, even though we're not physically seeing each other, we see each other virtually. Sometimes we get letters here at the office or emails. And also, I'm so excited that this last half of the year, a portion of our tithe monies is going to Punks with Lunch to support the homeless people. They just do great work. Rise, which is a recovery house for people recovering from addiction. And the Sunrise Movement, which is about ecology. These are three really important issues in our world right now, so we get to be part of that. And I know that as blessed as Unity, which we are all Unity, but as the organization has been blessed this week, I know that you have been blessed too. And I think this is just a really good time for us to just stop in deep appreciation for the gifts that have come into our life. Maybe it was a surprise letter or phone call. Maybe it was that beautiful sunset, or a bird that you hadn't seen before, or a flower that is just now one of those late bloomers in the summer. Suddenly it brought you joy, that brought you peace. Maybe it was just the thought of your loved ones, family, or friends. And as we cherish these gifts that we recognize, these gifts that we have been given in its many different forms, let us take a moment to bless them together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. And I know that you are glad too. We just join in this joy together. Yes. We're gonna close out with our traditional closing song, I Choose Love. Please sing along.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one sun. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
So Unity is available to watch on demand. You can binge watch it, or you can watch the different segments as it fits into your schedule. And if you're watching this on Sunday, please join us for Zoom fellowship time at 10:30. Only trick is you have to bring your own coffee. We haven't found a way to serve it yet across the ethers. God bless.